Okay, hey, we're on.
Yeah, well, this is a sketchy road.
I guess so.
We're off on yet another adventure in the middle of our social separating in order to avoid the COVID. We're really separated out here. We came out to explore a shipwreck at the Great Salt Lake. And that's really neat.
It is.
But we realized, pretty sure anyway, that it was the wreck of a ship of a blah, blah, blah that has a connection to the bridge that's back behind us, but they won't let us onto the bridge. So now we're on a dirt road and we're lost.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, let's pick it up from the top. It'll make more sense.
Is this where they filmed Gilligan's Island?
No, actually, that's Antelope Island. Normally, we would never come out to the Great Salt Lake, but if you've been watching the channel, we've been coming out here a lot because, well, what else is there to do?
That's right.
And I don't think a virus could survive out here. There is a marina here, and there's all these boats, but I don't know how safe it is to go out there when the lake is this low. They say right now the average depth is like 4 feet.
Oh, you might drag your bottom.
And speaking of dragging bottom, I think this boat kind of landed on the bottom.
Yes, something. What in the world?
It's been in the press that this washed up on shore. Well, no, clearly this has been buried in the mud for 100 years, but the lake has just receded to the point where now you can see it. It's just right there.
There it is.
And the waves have sort of washed the mud off of it. But this is a really old boat. I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones that was used by the Southern Pacific Railroad to build the causeway off across the lake. And we were kind of studying all the various bits and pieces and parts, and I'm pretty much convinced that's what it is. Or was. But you really have to wonder how it ended up sunk here.
It was a 3-hour tour.
Oh, the SS Minnow.
Yes.
Where's Roy Hinckley?
Exactly.
Professor Roy Hinckley, he was responsible. Well, Gilligan jokes aside, it is interesting that the thing has cropped up here. And so it sort of inspired us not only to come look at it, but to get back on our adventure of attempting to get out onto the causeway.
Yes.
We talked about that when we did the show on the causeway, and we said we were going to try to get out there because we understand you can do that. Now, normally this is a really shallow lake, but right now it's particularly.
I think you could walk across the whole thing.
Well, I think that's what these people are attempting right now. You can wade out and wade out and wade out, and it just doesn't get any deeper. There's some people here that have waded out about 150 yards. I went to a long lens so you could see them. But if you look really, really close, there's somebody out there about a half a mile, and it's knee deep. So yeah, it's very shallow, and that's revealing some interesting things. So this would be a grand time to try to explore the causeway if we can pull that off.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't know if we can. The causeway was built in 1909, and the SP used these steel boats. You can see one in the frame here, and I think that's the exact same boat that we just found, or the same type. They had other boats out here. They had a whole little armada of boats. But a whole bunch of them were these steel boats, and they abandoned several of them up on the causeway. But this looks to me to be the exact same boat that we found there.
It sure does.
That beam on the front of the bow used for something or other. Anyway, that beam is present in the wreck. So I'm 99.7.3% certain that the wreck is one of these. And these boats are one of the reasons I really want to get up to the causeway. It'd be fun to check out these boats, but I'm not sure how we get to them without traveling out over the causeway, which is railroad tracks, and you can't really do that.
No.
Can you? No.
Nope.
But we've been wanting to inspect these boats, and, well, one of them just sort of washed up in our backyard.
There it is.
And there it is. So it sort of gives us a chance to see one of those. Without actually going up to the causeway. Nobody knew it was here. People have been swimming on this beach for 100 years without knowing that they were swimming on top of this boat. Now, the causeway was built in 1909 to shorten the distance around the north end of the lake, and this section right here was wooden trestle. The rest of it was just an earthen causeway. But the causeway passes through the tip of Promontory Point right here. And when they finished the trestle section, this is where they abandoned those steel boats. Now, how one of them washed up down here is anybody's guess.
Somebody's on a sightseeing tour.
The old 3-hour tour. I'll bet it just got away from them in a storm and came loose from its moorings and washed up down here. You know, they used to take passenger trains across there, and they called it going to sea by rail.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that have been something to see? Later on, they tore the whole wooden section down and replaced the whole thing with earthen causeway. Again, this is not that difficult to do because it's such an impossibly shallow lake. But if you'll notice here, there's a service road, and that's been completely off limits, but we've been told that you can now drive down that road, that they're leaving the gate open, and so you can just drive down there.
Well, that's cool.
So we thought we'd head up there and see if we can't just drive down there. Anyway, the wind was blowing really kind of stood my hair on end.
A little bit.
What really stood my hair on end was this funnel cloud.
Yeah, right above us.
We said, you know, it's probably best to just get out of here now. So we left the storm to its own devices and took off.
Yes.
And thought we'd come back another day and explore the causeway. So the road out of the marina takes us right past Saltair 3.
Which is about as plain as a wrapper.
Yeah, the original Saltair was really something to see, and we just did that show on that. You should check it out. So the rumor is that the Union Pacific is allowing contractors to use the causeway as a road, and they're leaving the gate open here at Little Mountain so that those trucks can come and go and drive out to Promontory Point. And we figured if they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, right.
So we headed out there, and the gate's open, and we could have driven out there, but Union Pacific, well, they don't mess around, and they prosecute, and it does say that they're still enforcing no trespassing, so...
Don't want to risk it.
We don't want to risk it. So we gave up, and we left and tried to figure out something else to do. So we decided we'd drive the causeway out to Antelope Island.
Which is fun.
And it would give us a sense of what it's like to drive across the middle of the lake, driving on the causeway out to Antelope Island. This is Antelope Island, and it's a state park, so that'll be a fun place to go.
It will.
There are a couple of saints that get no credit whatsoever.
Just a couple.
Saint Swizzens. Doesn't have a day, doesn't have a holiday, nobody knows who he is, no medallions, nothing.
Yeah.
It might be that he doesn't even exist.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. But I celebrate St. Swithin's Day.
I do too.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Toast to St. Swithin. This is the causeway out to Antelope Island. It doesn't look like a causeway anymore.
No, it did the last time I was here with a bunch of 5th and 6th graders on a field trip.
The lake was here when you were...
That was a while back.
That was a while back. With the lake receded, it's just a road out across some salt flats. We're hoping that we will run into some lake. Oh, here it is. So there is still a little water around the causeway, just impossibly shallow. Again, you could wade out there for a mile and it'd never get up over your knees. But... finally, we're actually on causeway. So this is what it would have been like, sort of, had we been able to drive the causeway across the middle of the lake. So as we mentioned, Antelope Island is a state park and kind of a fun place to come.
It is. We sure enjoyed it on that field trip.
It's beautiful. And what scenery. One of the really surprising things, there's buffalo.
Yes.
Like a couple of thousand buffalo on the island. There's this huge herd of buffalo. You don't want to walk right up to them, but they're just everywhere.
Otherwise, you get a buff hello.
Yeah, never piss off a buffalo. It's a general rule. And pelicans.
Holy cow.
Lots and lots of pelicans. I understand like a couple 100,000 pelicans. They come here from the Pacific coast to summer in the Hamptons, as it were.
I guess so, along with the seagulls.
Along with the seagulls, but all these pelicans, which is really neat. And here we have the beautiful, attractive, sunny beach.
Yes.
Except
Yes.
the lake is gone.
Well, there's sand.
There's lots of sand.
Getting that summer suntan here.
This isn't a lake for people who swim, it's a lake for people who hike. Well, finally we made it to the beach.
We sure did, gee.
About a half-mile hike out to the water, such as it is, and then another half-mile of wading if you want to get into anything more than a foot deep. But it does give a nice place to just sort of stick your toes in the water if you want to wade around in it.
Well, that's why you don't sink, is because it's only about 4 inches deep.
Ew. Yes, it's become the great salt puddle. But for people who are into wading, it's great.
Fish feet.
All you have to do is go down this road and you will go through a hole. There's a road that goes nowhere. That looks pretty neat. It's fun to explore that.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Quack!
Quackers.
Donald Duck. That's what the Secret Service said. Donald Duck! Oh, we digress.
We're back.
We're back, so I don't know if we'll ever find our way onto the Lucin Cutoff or not. We've tried many times now, and we got some bad advice that we could go that way, and we can't.
At least we're dry.
Well, at least we're dry, but we are going to keep trying, and if we ever succeed, we will take you guys along with us.
Right.
Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop on over to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It'll be wonderful because you'll be notified if we ever find our way onto the Lucin Cutoff.
Or we're quacking up.
Or we're quacking up. Donald Duck! Anyway, blah, 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 the subscribe, you want to click on the blue button. Are we ready for it? Sign! The duck, the blue button, duck! Right there, make you a subscriber. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you here on Sunday or Tuesday or something, depending. See you then.
See ya, bye.
Bye-bye.